Hello there. Looking smoking today, aren't you? Today,
I want to play a game.
I'm gonna blab for the next 10 minutes. By the end of this video, I want you to tell me if you think I've seen Thor, Love and Thunder or not. Let's begin, shall we?
I always tell the truth, even when I lie.
Can I ask you something? When was the last time you saw an original movie? I mean a movie that stands on its own. Not a sequel, not a prequel, doesn't belong to whatever cinematic universe, or based on the best-selling novel. A movie that's new and totally original. Personally, I can't name much. Aside from Tenet, The Northman, This Long Ass Name, The Last Duel, these are the names that I can conjure up from recent memory. And I can say that most of you haven't seen most, if not all of them. Have you asked yourself why don't you see original movies anymore? No, I don't think you did. Who in their right mind would wake up and ask himself that kind of question? Still, I'm gonna talk about it because I'm an asshole who sticks his nose into everything.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Last Friday, Thor, Love and Thunder hit the theaters, and people went in packs to see it. Oh shit. Wrong trend. But it's kind of funny if you ask me. Anyway, I digress. The fourth installment in the story of Thor, an installment number God knows I lost count, in the MCU. This movie made $143 million in the opening weekend, which is expected because it's a Marvel movie. No need to explain that. And I wouldn't be surprised if it made $1 billion, although I don't think it will, for reasons I'll explain shortly. Personally, I kinda lost interest in the MCU after Endgame because I've seen almost the same movie 23 times with different characters and set pieces. I'm sure most of you are the same way. It was fun while it lasted, but all things must come to an end because you
either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the
MTDSU, Disney's golden goose that lays billion-dollar movies, which are now made by a scientific formula made in corporate labs rather than a screenwriting team. This one guy summed it up perfectly.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next products.
Well, the first component in this formula, you take a successful IP with its already built fan base, such as myths. Why did I say it like that?
It sounded like I'm from the Wild West.
Myths, folktales, comic books, or in the case of MTDSU, because that will guarantee asses into seats. Then you start playing with the components of the story under the pretense that, comic books can't be turned into a movie without some modifications. What the fuck is wrong with me today? Why am I sounding like Woody Woodpecker? First of these modifications is you need to feast the eyes. Apply as much CGI as you can. You need to impress the audience visually as much as you can. Think of it as the smoke and mirrors, to distract the audience from the shitty script and turn everything into an action sequence. Because people nowadays have an attention span of 5 seconds, so you need to keep everything flashy and fast-paced action. Whoops, don't forget to add the quote-unquote humor. Not any kind of humor though. Use only PG, tongue-in-cheek, goofy humor made for 7-year-olds, as you want to cater to younger audiences and get those family tickets. Also, you don't want to offend anyone. As for your main characters, well, the protagonist has to be a good person who committed foul acts.
I'm not a good guy.
And your antagonist must be a person with a tragic backstory who came across manipulative evil devices that corrupt people.
I'm not a bad guy.
As much as I like complex characters, but for the life of me, I will never understand why Hollywood is always trying to portray everyone as a good person in bad circumstances. Why are there no heroes or villains? Doesn't that make everyone the same and nothing matters at the end? Why should I care about such a movie? Why am I watching this movie then? Who am I supposed to be rooting for? And that really takes the emotional element out of the story, because there's no one to love or hate. They're both sides of the same coin.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
No heroes, no villains, nothing matters, life is pointless. But, I don't want to dwell on that, but I'm gonna make a video about Hollywood's shitty nihilistic approach to every fucking story. But at the same time, Your movie has to end with a drive into the sunset, and everyone has to redeem themselves. No one is really a villain. No one is really capable of evil. Also, because some of your audience can't really differentiate between fiction and reality, might get depressed or traumatized by a piece of fictional storytelling if their favorite character dies. Look, I'm not saying that you shouldn't or can't get involved in the story, but god damn it, some people just take it too far, especially if the dead character was from a marginalized minority. If you do that, automatically you're a bigot. Because whether you're a good person or not is based on factors that you didn't choose and happen to be born with or born into. Nowadays, you're judged based on the group that you belong to, not you as an individual. Which brings me to the final piece of the puzzle: preaching. Older movies always had an underlying message to convey between the lines, but fuck me, they were so good at hiding it that you couldn't even tell it was there unless you looked closely and paid attention. Nowadays, screenwriters don't give a flying fuck about that. Just shove it down the throats of the audience. Because as an activist in charge of writing a script, I meant to say modern screenwriter, your job is not to entertain people. Rather, you should lecture people on how to live their lives, what and what not to do, and tick every diversity and representation box that exists to get Twitter mob's approval, who wouldn't even bother watching your product. They just read online to see if your product is diverse enough or not, but to go see it and support it?
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
If only there was a quote to sum that up. Oh, here it is. In case you've noticed, I did not discuss one single plot point of the movie, but somehow everything I said applies to the movie. So could I have seen the movie? Who knows? Now I want you to tell me if you think I've seen Thor: Love and Thunder or not in the comments. But before you do that, please like the video, subscribe for more, but by the end of the day, I'm just a schizophrenic taking a shit who occasionally snaps. Peace.